Kerry Benjoe, thank you so much for chatting with us today. My first question is, can you tell us why you didn't want to join another journalism organization, especially the Indigenous Journalists Association?
I have a lot of respect for the current organization like the IJA and the CAJ, but with the IJA, I don't think it has, well, it doesn't have the capacity right now to advocate for journalists on this side of the border. We have very specific needs here in Canada, and the IJA, although it does really great work in the United States, it really doesn't have anything that is specifically Canadian. We did discuss initially maybe forming a northern chapter, but right now IJA is not equipped to even meet those needs.
And Kerry, anything else to add with regards to why IMAC was formed now?
Well, I think the time is right. You know, like there isn't any specific reason other than the fact that, you know, in 2023 there was the IJ had a national conference in Winnipeg, and it brought together so many Indigenous journalists, and we began talking. And about a year after that, we started talking about, you know, wouldn't it be great if we had the opportunity to meet, collaborate, and just have something similar here in Canada, because there isn't anything. There is nothing that unites all journalists and broadcasters and storytellers. There isn't anything right now. And being in that environment where it brought together so many Indigenous journalists, it was such a rich environment. And I think we need that. We need that unity, because so many of us work alone. We work remotely, and we don't have access to a lot of information. And so this is about building community. It's about sharing resources. It's about networking, and it's about, you know, building that capacity to be independent storytellers.
Kerry, with the changing landscape such as cutbacks and layoffs, can you explain how IMAC will support Indigenous journalists and Indigenous-owned media outlets?
I think it's really important right now to have an organization, a national organization that pushes specifically for Indigenous people to have the opportunity, space, and culturally sensitive space to tell our stories our own way. And I think that there is power in numbers, and we need to have an equal seat at the table when it comes to lobbying the government for access to funding, having input when special projects are announced. We need to be at those tables, at those decision-making tables when policies are made, when funding is being allocated. And I think right now it is imperative that we stand up and we have a strong voice when all these things are taking place.
Mm-hmm. And Kerry, finally, part of the mandate of IMAC is to advocate for Indigenous journalism as an inherent right to traditional storytelling. Can you explain what that means and how that would be achieved?
I think what we want to do at IMAC is to really drive forth that idea that journalism is not new. It has always been with us. We have always had this as part of our culture. It is about sharing knowledge. It's about education, and it's something that we need to promote and have our own Indigenous sovereignty when it comes to media. It's just as important as everything else. Our storytelling, our stories are equally important. They're equally valid. They do so much for us as Indigenous people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I got tongue-tied there.
No, that's quite all right. Kerry Benjoe, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.